Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When I was trying to get to this podcast off the ground, I had so many questions. How do I record an episode? Where do I find my background music? How do I get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? Where do I find the advertisers? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. So, if you want to start a podcast, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. I can't wait to hear your podcast. Okay, guys, welcome to the final day of Star Wars week. Well, I was supposed to do that on Thursday, but I skipped out on it because I was pretty exhausted. But today, this is Revenge of the Friday, which of course I named after. Which I had named after oh yeah, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah. So, therefore, of course, this one is we're gonna go through every Clone Wars arc with the top 10. It's to tell you which one was my favorite. Alright, there we go. So, here we go. Okay, we begin with what happened to be the arc with number 10, of course. It's of course the end of Zero the Hutt. Well, we already know that Zero the Hutt had been a co-conspirator of Rada the Hutt's kidnapping, which of course framed the Republic until Padme said otherwise, which of course pretty much says it all, because she had a proof of evidence that it was Zero the Hutt who is the kidnapper of Rada, so he's been held captive. And then, well, gonna get to the Cad Bane arc very soon. So he was freed by by one of the species, same as Shriv from Battlefront 2. Of course, freedom. And it was threatened to blow up if the clones don't stand down. And the clones stand down, and then he blows it up anyways. And then Zero the Hutt went into hiding. And of course, meets his beloved. And those two went Bonnie and Clyde on them. Until in that third planet, she betrayed him. Not only broken his heart, but ending the life of the Hutt by shooting him with a blaster. So that was pretty much it. I mean, it could have been like one more season longer. The Zero the Hutt, so therefore it's number 10 on the list. And Zero the Hutt's and. Well, yes, this one, of course, was not my favorite, however, but I did enjoy, like, some of the episodes, but the one I did not enjoy so much, and the one that just, you know, wow me, well, a little bit of wow, but this arc is called, maybe called Ahsoka's Walkthrough, but I call this the Martess Sisters' Bogus Journey. Well, we know that Ahsoka, of course, after leaving the Jedi Order, so she goes down in the level 1313 after her ride malfunctioned. And I thought she fell all the way down to the criminal underworld, but at least she survived that. Where she met Trace Martess, who was confronted by the gang, and then, of course, it befriended Ahsoka, but of course, Rafa, her older sister Rafa Martess, however, she doesn't see Ahsoka much of an ally, but rather as a distraction. And then, of course, went from building a droid, and then all hell broke loose. And then with the spice mission, of course, all hell broke loose. And then going captive at the Pike Syndicate. And you guessed it, they escaped. But all hell broke loose. And then of course, the Ahsoka sent the Martess sisters to bring back the spice, and a little bit of hell broke loose. Well, I do have some positives about this, because of course, oh yeah, the Velociraptor's house. And then they got back, and then of course, the explosion, say with me, all hell broke loose. And then they escaped back to level 1313, where Ahsoka meets up with once an adversary, now a friend, Bo-Katan Kryze, the younger sister of the late Duchess Satine Kryze, who of course I'm gonna mention in this in the next few arcs. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But like I say, I do not recommend this, but this is on the top 10. So we're gonna go to the next arc. Number 8, of course, is The Shadow of Maleficent. The Shadow of the Maleficent trilogy. which of course we begin with Anakin and Ahsoka in a starfighter battle with, of course, General Grievous and the Separatists, however. It is from Season 1, where it first aired on Cartoon Network. Right after the Yoda episode, where trying to make negotiations with a Toydarian. While Asajj is the one making the shots here, but that's just only one episode, so yeah, that's pretty much. So yeah, that's pretty much it, you know? So of course, with the, we began with Shadow of Maleficence, where with the help of his Padawan Ahsoka and Jedi Master Plo Koon, Anakin Skywalker utilized the new long-range wide-wing bombers to lead a bold strike on General Grievous' warship, the Maleficence, and its destructive weapon. Well, okay, it's just two. Oh wait, of course, with with Rising Maleficent. Okay, yeah, Rising Maleficent was right after Ambush. But this one takes place after Supply Line, but however. And then we got to Destroy Maleficent, of course, with General Grievous holding hostage of Padme Amidala and C-3PO. Leaving Anakin and Obi-Wan to save the Senator and complete the destruction of the Maleficent. So we got, of course, and the General Grievous has escaped. But however, this is an enjoyable arc. So we can, of course, get to, and this is why I get to, of course, is the and I really enjoyed that. And of course, my favorite is they changed Anakin from how he was in the trilogy to a complete badass. Even Matt Lanter did a good job portraying Anakin Skywalker. And to be honest, I know all you're gonna hate me for saying this, but I think he's better than Matt Lucas and Hayden Christensen put together. But Mark Thompson could have used his Anakin instead of Hayden Christensen's Anakin, to be honest, on Thrawn Alliances. But yet I have yet to finish that book with Darth Vader and Thrawn first met as Anakin and Thrawn. And of course, that's what we pretty much got so far. So that's the Maleficent trilogy. It's the number 8 arc, however. And this next one, however, is of course where one became an apprentice of a Sith, later on became the bounty hunter. And of course, fell in love with Jedi and met her end. And we, of course, however, and who was the one that appeared in the mini-series, however, in Legends? Who was in the mini-series of the Clone Wars? created by Dexter Slabs, and Primals, and Samurai Jack's Gandhi Tarkovsky, who also went and done Hotel Transylvania. No, for Cartoon Network? Well, Hotel Transylvania was Sony, so yeah. And it's none other than Asajj Ventress. Although the Clone Wars miniseries was Legends, however. But right before the decanonizing destruction, the decanonical, with the exception of the Clone Wars movie and the Clone Wars TV series, thankfully, Dave Filoni has Asajj Ventress retconning her disappearance right after her battle with Anakin from the miniseries. And of course, she is a Night Sister, which we didn't know much about. Then, full explanation, and she was on a hunt against Anakin and Obi-Wan. But pretty much it. So, Ahsoka, however, is of course, well, we get to see her meet with Anakin, Obi-Wan and Ahsoka again, but right before that, Duke, in his later mission after fleeing, Dooku has denounced her as his apprentice, and now sees her as a target. Where of course she goes to the Night Sisters, and it later became she later became a bounty hunter, teaming with a Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is outnumbered and outmatched with Savage Opress and Darth Maul, who we thought Obi-Wan had killed, but he is too hard to die. And I'm going to get to that when we reveal the number 1. And then, of course, go to level 1312, meeting with Ahsoka. And that was much of a perfect tease right before its unfortunate cancellation. A month before 1313's unfortunate cancellation. And then her story doesn't end there. And of course, right before Order 66, she met with the Jedi and of course fell in love with him. And then of course fell to the dark side, however. And that was pretty tough. Just like a World Wildlife Foundation with the baby elephant. That was pretty tough. And then of course she made the ultimate sacrifice to save him. Well, actually he gets redemption and she made the ultimate sacrifice. Thus ending her story. And that was for the novel Dark Disciples, which of course was taking place during the Clone Wars. So, and yes, it is canon, however. Dark Disciple is of course canon right after the unfortunate cancellation of the Clone Wars, which was on Netflix at the time. 5 years before Disney Plus has arrived, and close to 6 years after its return. So yeah, that's pretty much the thing. But you know what's the interesting fact about Asajj? that she is voiced by Nika Flutterman, who of course Catherine Tabor voiced Padme Amidala in the TV series, who was previously voiced by Grey Griffin. No, back then as Grey Delisle in the mini-series version, and the 3 actresses later played in the Loud House, respectively as Lori Tabor, Flutterman as my favorite Loud sister, Luna, and Griffin for my least favorite sisters. Well, they 2 out of 3, the twins, Lana, who is a sick little monkey, and Lola, who is, of course, yeah, I'm not gonna say that on the podcast because you gotta keep it respectful. But she's a spoiled brat. But if I do some animation with the animation countdown, where I, of course, do the sister sibling, I'm gonna censor that word. But she also played my second favorite sister, Lily, who is the cutest of all sisters, because she's just a baby. She's just a baby, that's all, So yeah, that's Assange's journey so far. And yes, that is very interesting. That 3 actresses, of course, were in Star Wars that made transition to the Loud House. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, of course. Was, of course, And you got Griffin, Flutterman, and Tabor in the Star Wars universe, and you brought them to Nickelodeon for the Loud House. Yeah. Oh, we gotta get back to the countdown. Okay, the next one we're, of course, talking about is, of course, Savage Press. With, of course, the Night Brother, however, was, of course, the new apprentice, however, and, of course, he's, had to kill one of his brothers. And then he made all the way to the killing of course, Master Halsey and his Padawan. Both of them had died in a planet. Of course, killed all the clones. Which, of course, brought us to Delta Squad. The clone commandos, however. They gave the news that there were no... which, of course, the victory at Deberon. But then, unfortunately, for the clones, however, it was not just their defeat, but it's also no survivors. It was... as told by Boss. And yes, that is another... And that was another for the Legends, of course, with the video game, Republic Commando. But they were brought into canon. Because we see Sev and Fixer and Scorch. Because Delta Squad are officially canon. Thanks to the TV show. Yeah, so I can't wait to see their own video game version once. Or maybe Project Maverick can be the long, unfortunate cancellation brought back Imperial Commando. because I recognize the dark background. And I recognize the dark background of the Imperial Commando, however. And it's, of course, the unfortunate cancellation of the video game. So, that's pretty much a glass sure deal. And that was pretty much it. So we can go, of course. But of course, sorry, aside from that, let's get back to the Savage. And he finds the long-lost brother, who is believed to be dead. And of course, he has the spider legs. It was loony, and his voice sounds different from the Phantom Menace. As it was none other than Sam Witwer, who is of course Starkiller on the Force Unleashed games. But he made his start on the Mist. Yeah, on the Mist, and unfortunately it did not end so well. His demise in the film did not end so well. Meaning, he got killed off in that film. And of course, he did a good job voicing Maul. And then Maul now became a badass again. But we're gonna get to his demise later on. Because next up is Yoda's journey. This next one is, of course, was the final one before the final season was here, and right before, right before Disney Plus has arrived. So, this one, I'm gonna call this, of course, is Yoda's Trials, where Yoda, of course, has to go through the trials as ordered by those figures and masks. Well, actually, you know what? Actually, so actually, of course, it's in the top 5, however. What is so great about this? Because we never got to see a Grand Jedi Master going through a trial before. And of course, we got to see Darth Bane on screen. And no, Darth Bane is not Cad Bane, who of course is a bounty hunter, but rather a Sith who started the rule of 2, and he's the Dark Sith of the Old Republic. And of course ends with Yoda, however, joined, of course, with the Jedi Order, however. But at least he got to survive the trial and avoid turning to the dark side with Sidious and Dooku. And then ends with Obi-Wan and Mace Windu talking. So yeah, that is one of the top 5 arcs that I covered, you know? Yeah. So it's pretty much, the thing, yeah. And it's been a while. And not all of it could be Season 7, because this one is, of course, was from Season 5, however. And this one, of course, is of course, where they go to Mandalore. And of course, this was Death Watch's downfall. If I can remember very well, we see the leader of the Death Watch, led by this certain character who is voiced by the Iron Man director and the Mandalorian creator himself, Jon Favreau, who happens to be the Sean Bean of Star Wars, because he was also in Solo Star Wars story. Damn decent film, but flawed. Unfortunately, he got killed off in this. He got killed off in Solo, right after he was killed off in this. And of course, he was no longer in power after Maul has defeated him. Of course, Maul grabs a lightsaber and decapitated him. And of course, with the Maul declares himself as the new leader of Death Watch, however, with Savage Press, and it was an unfortunate thing for Satine, however, who is the Duchess of Mandalore, and of course, with Obi-Wan, given up, but Maul isn't done with him yet. And so in return, she had killed, of course, the Duchess, and Obi-Wan grabbed the dying woman in her arms, who had admitted her feelings for Obi-Wan, of course, and yes, Obi-Wan, you know the code, and Anakin's not the only one who's breaking it. You've broken it before him. You're not allowed to love, even though right before Episode 1, you just admitted your feelings for her. But although I do kind of feel sorry for her, of course. And of course, which causes Bo-Katan and the rest of Death Watch, including Sabine's mom, however, Ran, not Ursula, Ran, and the rest to defect. And goes against Maul's Death Watch. While Maul, however, was found by Sidious, who was surprised to be alive, and then of course was disgusted because Maul broke the rule too. With the Master and Apprentice. Because he's got Savage as his apprentice. And of course, we know that Savage is voiced by Clancy Brown. For those who can't follow Cartoon Network, he is most famous for the role of Lex Luthor from the animated series of Superman. And also, he's the voice of Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob SquarePants. So, that's pretty much it, and that met his end. However, so of course, now we get to the top three. The top three arcs, however, of the Clone Wars, where of course, which season 3 is later known as Secrets Revealed. Now this is, however, this was one of the best seasons I ever watched. Was the was one of the Clone Wars arc that is my very first secrets revealed, however, was the Martess. The Martess arc. Which we see the father who is the balance of the Force, the daughter who is, of course, the light side. Represents the light side, however. And of course, the son, who represents the dark side. And then, of course, with the dark side, however, confronting Obi-Wan and Ahsoka, who is, of course, it's no secret, was my least favorite character, however. As I kind of rooted for her to die. Yeah, I know, but it was, yeah, I know, boo at me, boo this man, I know. But I say was, it's the past tense. But it's a different, which I'm going to reveal on the next arc, however, but we're going to continue with the Martess. And then Obi-Wan asked the son, oh, no, wait. And the son asked Obi-Wan if it's true that Anakin is the chosen one. And then Obi-Wan replied of what was he gonna do with, what does he want with him so much? And then while Ahsoka was alone, the son confronted Ahsoka, and then got her to turn to the dark side. When I was still not impressed, when she fights, and then of course, as she was ready to kill the son, to get the dark side powers. But but of course, the daughter makes the sacrifice. And the death touch of the son killed Ahsoka instantly. But I was yelling, yes! And her kid yelled the opposite. No! Yep. Yeah. I mean, I did not edit that. He really did yell no. And then the son got away. But with Ahsoka dead, and then, of course, the daughter dying, so Anakin transfer the daughter so to bring back Ahsoka to life. I was like, oh, come on! And then we get to the final arc, however, of the Martess, where, of course, Anakin fell to the dark side. We're witnessing, of course, of Padme getting choked. And, with the rat, and then we see a vision of Darth Vader. And he yelled no, but this time, hit a raging one. And we got to see the first battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Right before Anakin got out of the dark side. I mean, that's been done before, but still. What is the one way to end the Martess episode? The son killing the father, and the father killing the son at the same time. And then, of course, both are gone. And thus ends the Martess arc. Now, this one, however, of course, where I rooted for the death of Ahsoka, however, But the next one, however, makes me, of course, when I was older, of course, about me not liking Ahsoka. This arc, however, changed my mind about her. So yeah, that's pretty much, I'm gonna explain it all on the arc, however, with Ahsoka and with the Ahsoka arc, however. Sorry. Well, guys, I just want to say, of course, this arc, however, well, the two things I love, of course, was the finding the suspect. This is like a cat and a mouse. This is like a cat and a mouse game, however. And we got to witness the return of Chancellor Palpatine, an Asajj Ventress, and the real person. But we begin with this arc with, of course, the bombing in the Jedi Temple, killing. It begins with killing, of course, of several of the Jedi's. Like 19 of them. 19 of the Jedi's were killed in the bombing. And of course, they are in pursuit of a criminal who of course was making, of course, who it caused the Jedi Temple to explode, was none other than one of the civilians of Coruscant. And then, of course, we have the one story arc, however, where Ahsoka has been falsely accused of the murder of a prisoner. And yet they go on a manhunt against her. And yet she was and this is kind of reminds me of the action film starring Han Solo himself, Harrison Ford, as the fugitive, which of course starring him and Tommy Lee Jones. And I really enjoy watching The Fugitive, because that's one of my favorite action movies. Because I love watching that action movie. Because this is a non-Star Wars, non-nerd film. This is an action film. Right before the spin-off film, the U.S. Marshals, where Tommy Lee Jones returning, and the debut of Iron Man. Oh yeah, sorry, I got lost in that. But let's get back. Of course, the clones have a search party with Rex telling Anakin, however, that Ahsoka has escaped at level 1312. And then, of course, Asajj and Ahsoka met up again. At this time, Asajj is a bounty hunter after she escaped from Savage and Maul with with of course, a betrayal, but with Ahsoka still on the run, Anakin just confronted her, and she said that Anakin don't trust her, that she didn't kill the prisoner, but Anakin Amber said the opposite, that I do trust you. And then of course it ends with the arc of Chapter 1. And now we begin with the second arc, however, with of course Ahsoka still in pursuit, however, with running until she got caught with her with being stunned and then held captive, and then put on trial, and we see Tim Curry made a debut. For those of you who don't know, he's a famous actor, of course, for the Rocky Horror Picture Show, It Chapter 1, and Home Alone 2. But for those who you know him as a voice acting role, he voiced in The Mighty Ducks, and of course he once voiced Joker in the Batman animated series for the unaired pilot, right before Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill, took that role. And yes, it's Star Wars related. And he's also most iconic for the Nickelodeon show, The Wild Thornberrys, as Nigel. It's Nigel Thornberry, however. But with that out of the way, and we got Ahsoka, however, and the real culprit has been revealed, with Anakin confronting Barriss Offee, who is, of course, Ahsoka's friend, and one of Jedi Master's apprentice. Anakin, of course, fell to the dark side. And it revealed that she is the real culprit who framed Ahsoka Tano and killed the prisoner. But then, of course, and Ahsoka is cleared, and she's been brought back to the council. But at this moment, however, this moment changed my opinion on her. However, just walking away, just walked out and declined to join back the Order. Then I say, I don't blame Ahsoka for once. And then, of course, with one final moment of Cartoon Network right before it got to Netflix, this was the final arc of the season, and this was the final episode in the Cartoon Network scheduling, right before the Dark Times. Okay, currently the Dark Times. And then it's, yes, with Stuart Snyder. But hey, at least he did some good. Like, brought Adventure Time, the regular show, and Gumball and Steven Universe to scheduling right before Christina Miller ultimately executed Order 92. And of course, well, I'm not going to get into that, the Christina Miller regime. But this one, of course, that's my second favorite arc to do. Right before I'm going to get to the number one arc of the Clone Wars, here are some honorable arc mentions. Alright, right before I get to number one, here are some honorable mentions. The Bad Batch arc. Well, that's pretty interesting because we have the Bad Batch. And of course, I mean, all of them are pretty good, but I also like some. And the Bad Batch is one of them. Where we get to see the Bad Batch, who was originally drafted for Season 6. which was supposed to be a fall season right before its cancellation. And the YouTube Pal arc, however, has been turned into a comic, and that's canon. And that is canon, however, from Dark Horse. That's one of the 2 Dark Horse comics that survived decanonization. And the Red Drive is, however, canon, and so is the comic book. But the Bad Batch has survived and turned into the arc of the final season. And the next one, however, was of course Anakin sees the guy that's been flirting with Padme. And while I do have to remember his name, however, because he was in the book A Queen's Shadow, where he first encountered Padme, and yes, he shared a kiss with her once, and of course, he got in with Padme, and then he made the ultimate sacrifice when Anakin couldn't pull to 2 of them, and he lets go, and of course, for him to save Padme. Well, that ends his story here, but that's one of the good arcs. And of course, the Bounty Hunters. The Bounty Hunters Guild with Boba Fett and the rest of the Bounty Hunters, including the one who tried to assassinate Padme, but then ultimately failed. And then of course Boba Fett is here for revenge against Mace Windu, who had murdered his father by decapitating him. But in that moment, when Boba Fett came so close, but no cigar, of course, he saw with a closed face after the helmet was taken off. It was the face of his father, which is really heartbreaking and haunting to him. And then, of course, he gets held captive and held prisoner. When Mace Windu just asked him, why would he do this? And Boba Fett remembered well. And the interesting part, of course, was he was brought back by the same actor who played Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones. And he's much older. And he was much older now. And that's pretty much says about things. And of course, I forgot the rest of the arc, however. But all of them are pretty good, so therefore. And now it's time for the #1 arc that is considered being my favorite of all arcs. Alright guys, here is the #1 arc I consider to be the favorite of all arcs, is of course the final arc of the final season. And that's the Siege of Mandalore arc, where we begin with the confrontation of the droids. We begin with the conversation of the droids, however. And of course it ends with a retaliation from the clones. With Cody's forces attacking on the bridge. And of course, with Rex's forces deployed. And then after the victory, Anakin got a message from from which he thought to be Saw Gerrera, and then it was revealed that it was actually Ahsoka who made her return. And like I said, I'll say it once, I'll say it again, this was a character I once hated. Again, once is a past tense. But after the final arc of Cartoon Network, changed my mind about her. But I'm really glad to see her back. And then, it was not good news, however, that it's not here to celebrate or anything. But the real reason it's because they have found Maul, who is the common enemy of the Jedi and Death Watch, because Bo-Katan's sister was slaughtered by him. And then of course Obi-Wan did a good job with caring so much for Sabine. Satine. Well, Satine. Sabine. Oh yeah, that sounds the difference, but I would say what's the difference, but that is the difference. The spelling of the name. And then Red birth Sabine ran, while Satine Kryze was murdered. Who was the Duchess at the time. And then Obi-Wan realized that, but he did get his personal feelings in the way. And then, of course, they got that word that General Grievous attacked Coruscant and they kidnapped the Chancellor, which was a connection to the legends from the miniseries. And then Anakin and Obi-Wan, of course, got the word from Mace Windu, who shocked he was trying to protect the Chancellor, but however, was captured. And then he has breathing problems. That Grievous was coughing. And then of course we get to the Siege of Mandalore attack, which they're ready to confront Maul, which Maul was expecting Obi-Wan or Anakin to show up, but they had other matters, and Ahsoka was leading the 212th Company. Oh wait, the 332nd Company, which is a half of the 501st. And then of course, most of them were wearing Ahsoka helmets. The helmets painted to resemble Ahsoka's face. Except for Rex. And Commander Rex, however, Captain Rex has been promoted to Commander. And then all hell began to break loose at Mandalore. And of course, the captain, however, the new captain, Vaughn, was unfortunately killed in the ambush. And then as Ahsoka was getting, of course, outnumbered and outmatched, we see Maul, who was actually expecting Obi-Wan and Anakin to show up, but unfortunately, they were here to rescue the Chancellor. Which after she escaped, she got the news that Anakin has decapitated, or in that form, executed Count Dooku, just because the Chancellor told him. Who got me puzzled that it must be Darth Sidious. And then of course we have, and I'm gonna get to the part why I really love that arc so much. And then of course, Obi-Wan, however, well, it was revealed that he has he has doubts about the Jedi Order also. With the High Council, however, he does have doubts about them too. And then, of course, we got to Ahsoka and Anakin. Well, not Anakin. Of course, right before. Yeah, I really need to stop clicking on the wheel. Steering wheel, however. But, at least Maul was ready to he gave one hell of a motivational speech, and the Mandalores from his side cheered, while Prime Minister, who was captured, was later gunned down. But it wasn't, of course, Obi-Wan he wanted. It was actually Anakin. And then while confronting Maul, while she was confronting Maul, she asked him what she want with Anakin. And then Anakin, the reason he wanted Anakin is for the dark side. And it's to bring balance to the dark side. Say he's the key to the dark side, but he's the chosen one, so he gets the balance of the Force. But then, of course, he was, captured, and the yelling, and it was a heart racer. Oh, wait. No, it just blew my freaking mind. The second arc, however, well, this would have been one movie. And of course, right after their victory, we get to Shattered. Well, I mean, right after the Shattered part, right before, and it was, of course, a Phantom Menace. Oh, wait, a Phantom Apprentice. Which was, of course, Anakin being the one. And then right after he was captured and held captive, Maul, however, is going to be going to the prison cells. Right now, he would be going to the prison cells and Clone Wars, but although, however, it was a goodbye for Bo-Katan, and the rest were captured. The ones who joined Maul's dark side. But it wasn't the last we seen of them, because they later appeared on Rebels. But I didn't touch the steering wheel this time. It just cuts to this. Now back to the connection to Revenge of the Sith. Right after Commander Cody gave Yoda, Mace, and I apologize for not mentioning her the last time I did this, Ayla Secura and Kaya Mundi the news about Obi-Wan's disappearance. That he did retrieve his lightsaber, but of course, but let him know if he did get a chance to find him. And of course, ends with great care we must take. While Revenge of the Sith cuts to Anakin confronting the Chancellor, who is revealed to be Palpatine. Meanwhile, it continued on, however, this arc with Ahsoka telling the news about Obi-Wan. He's at Utapau, trying to bet he was in a battle with Grievous, Well, put him in a goose chase and ended a confrontation in front of his starfighter, where he made an escape. Well, would have made his escape. And then of course Obi-Wan and the General Grievous with the blaster. Says, so uncivilized. And then of course with Mace Windu, ready up the medical kit. They told Anakin to remain here. And, to remain here. But, then of course with thoughts of Padme to die while she is pregnant. And then of course with Rex and Ahsoka having a talk. Which later got to the Jedi Purge. With the death of the Sackbrack and the Ram guy and Kit Fisto, who were slaughtered by Darth Sidious. But then we get to the voices of Hayden Christensen, Samuel L. Jackson, and Ian McDiarmid from the same dialogue as Revenge of the Sith, with Anakin cutting off, with Mace Windu trying to end Darth Sidious, and then Anakin chopped off his hand when he screamed of hate, and then Palpatine shouting, "Unlimited power!" But then it ends with him saying, "What have I done?" But not in Hayden Christensen's voice, but in Matt Lantern's voice. It's Lantern's voice. Right after Rex must have gotten the news about Obi-Wan's death. But instead he got a message from Sidious saying, "Execute Order 66." Which caused Rex to turn against the one who he called a friend. But then of course, and the order is to set their guns from stun to kill. To kill Ahsoka, but Rex will do it himself. And then said, "Stay back!" 5. And as he fought back the tears. This episode, however, was a heart racer. Because, again, this was the character I once hated, and now in this, and then of course changed my mind on when she walked out of the Jedi Order. But in then, this moment of course, I've begun to fear for her life. Yeah, I have begun to fear for her life, the Ahsoka's. But then she deflected the blasters, and then created a hole. Escape route. And then Rex gave the order to the clones that she is a subject to execute, and any clones who betray the order will also be executed. But he also added that Maul is also ordered to be executed. Right before Maul was about to be executed, Ahsoka have slaughtered the clones, and then Maul, of course, was saved by Ahsoka, but not for his reason, but not to save Maul, but rather to save Rex. And then later for the droids, however, the astromechs, not the battle droids. Who, of course, were about to be shut down because after Anakin fell to the dark side, and all the Jedi's that were getting slaughtered, except for Obi-Wan and of course Yoda and Cal Kestis and Sir Junda and Kanan Jarrus, who are the Order 66 known survivors, are the ones who survived Order 66. Ahsoka was in a battle for her life, even though Maul's not a Jedi. He's also battling for his life, even though he's a diversion. And he cut off one of the clone's arms, who Jesse contacted. Who Commander Rex contacted. And then Maul took one of the comm links, and then, of course, Rex just asked about, where Ahsoka's whereabouts of one of the astromech droids. After Ahsoka revealed that Rex was the one who knows about the inhibitor chips. The inhibitor chip that could get the clones to command the Order. And then Order, of course. And then, of course, Rex was knocked unconscious by droids using electrical shock. And then, of course, Ahsoka was trying to find the inhibitor chip, and then used the same trademark. Who are the ones that are not the Jedi? I'm the one with the Force, and the Force is with me. And then, of course, she found the inhibitor chip. It was in the right cranium, to have it removed. And then, of course, Rex was about to wake up, and then Ahsoka was close to death until Rex finished the job. Oh, never mind. I thought he finished the job, but he's like, yeah, kid, I'm all right. Yeah, and then he apologized for almost killing her. And then Ahsoka asked how widespread is this? The Rex just told her that it's not just him, but it's all of the clone troopers. No matter what battalion they are, it was the order to execute all Jedi. And then right before the clones were trying to open, Rex set his gun, his pistols to stun. And then of course, while Maul, of course, was destroying the capital ship, of the Republic, and then of course it was going down in the unknown moon. Like I say, it's going down in the unknown moon of the for the crash landing. Jesse, however, is searching for Ahsoka to execute her, and of course, search for Rex, who is still missing in action in their point of view. But then Ahsoka is trying to find a way to save them. But until Rex, which had me broken down, I'm not gonna lie, which has me broken down, say the clones do not care. And of course, with the final moments of Rex and Ahsoka, I thought they were starting to kiss, Yeah, I thought they were gonna kiss or something. Like we got another arc with. There's another one with more than friends, like with Anakin and Padme, of some sort. But it's just where he, of course, And then, of course, he too was considered to be a traitor, so therefore he is also executed. And then the droids help them go down the shaft and then go up. And down and up, and then one of them got shot. And then up, of course, it was R7. And then Cheap, voiced by Dave Filoni, and then Gigi, however, were also executed by clones. Well, that's the first time Dave Filoni got killed off. And then, of course, Maul made his escape, and Ahsoka won't let him until she saw Rex, and she, of course, made the sacrifice. Well, giving up to capture Maul for the life of Rex. And thus, of course, it ends the arc with a most memorable scene in Clone Wars, which is, of course, the ones that are too upset. But me, I love this episode of the final arc. That is my favorite episode of all. Victory and Death, with the death where the clone troopers were buried. But the ones who did not survive the crash. While Rex, however, saved Ahsoka using her Y-Wing, and then Ahsoka, however, dropped her lightsaber on the ground to make sure that she died. And then it ends with Darth Vader, of course, with a lightsaber. With the lightsaber, knew it was Ahsoka making that sound. I'm sorry, with the lightsaber, and then it was Bird, the same one for Rebels, and that was the daughter. And thus it ends the show, and brought it into the Clone Wars, and the rise of the Empire era begins. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my favorite arc of all. The Siege of Mandalore and Order 66. And that brought us to the end of Star Wars Week. Yes, the reason of this, well, sorry if I had to cut that out because of the music takes a little longer, but but we are going to, of course, continue with the, because it won't loop after the minutes are up, but the real reason I love this arc is because this is connected to Revenge of the Sith. And yes, this arc, however, is connected to Revenge of the Sith. Begins with, of course, the kidnapping of Chancellor Palpatine, and then the death of Dooku and the search for Grievous, and then Order 66, which is the connection. Because this would have been a movie called, it begins with Siege of Mandalore, and then Order 66. Well, it would have continued on with the Grievous, making the attack to the at the planet of Coruscant, and then kidnapping Palpatine, and then Obi-Wan telling Ahsoka that Anakin had executed Dooku, and then of course Anakin giving the update that Obi-Wan had killed General Grievous. And then, of course, I love the point of view of Order 66 of the Clone Wars perspective. I mean, we got to witness Order 66 first in the Revenge of the Sith, and then of course, it became in Jedi, and of course, the Legends, The Force Unleashed. And then we got to witness that in Jedi Fallen Order. And now we have witnessed Order 66 in the Clone Wars TV show. Yeah, that is one of the reasons why I love this arc so much, because this is a connection to the Revenge of the Sith, which is my favorite prequel films. And of course, that is one of the ones I defended after I defend most of half of the things about the Phantom Menace, and I defended a few things about Attack of the Clones, but I defend all the things about Revenge of the Sith. And like I say, and I love the video games that takes place right between episode 2 and 3. And of course, I love the book of the Queen's Shadow, which takes place in between episode 1 and 2. Which is in between of the Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. But I still haven't finished Master and Apprentice. Whenever I get the time, I'm going to, of course, get to that. I've got to finish the book, and then I'll give you my thoughts. And I restarted the audio drama, however, of Dooku Lost, Jedi Lost. Then, of course, we get to, with Dooku, during his time as a Sith, and of course his time prior as a Jedi. And that's what I'm saying, of course, you know. It's why I love this arc so much. But other than that, it's just, you know, yeah, it's just, and of course, Republic Commando, that was the first person shooter. I was not good at it, but hey, at least I finished the game, however, and of course, you know, I love the time and place of, and time and the place during the Attack of the Clones, and during, of course, and during Revenge of the Sith. Oh wait, and before Revenge of the Sith. Because we saw General Grievous. And we got to see General Grievous in that time, prior to Revenge of the Sith, right after the Clone Wars miniseries by Gendy Tarkovsky. And of course, we never got to see the fall of the Separatists. Well, we only got to witness that on Revenge of the Sith, where Darth Sidious ordered Darth Vader to destroy the Separatists of Newt Gunray and his Separatist leaders. And then, of course, it told them to shut down the droid units. But not all of them are shut down. However, because we got the droids in Rebels, and there's a bit of a retcon between Ahsoka and Rex, but Rex says, "I never betrayed my Jedi," that he got his inhibitor chip removed. However, he did. He did betray Ahsoka. He didn't betray Jedi, but that Jedi is Anakin. And Ahsoka is no Jedi. And of course, he ordered to execute her. But But he did get his inhibitor chip removed, not by himself, but by Ahsoka Tano herself. And Rebels, I was really glad to see her again. And I'm glad to get to see Rex, Gregor, and Wolf again. Who the two got, well, who Wolf got his inhibitor chip removed. But, however, Gregor got his destroyed and he was stranded on a planet. And then they helped the rebels all the way until Gregor made the ultimate sacrifice. And then was proud to serve Rex, who was the ARC Trooper, and Gregor was the Clone Commando. Was a Clone Commando, however, and those two types of class never got along. You know, with Rex was the ARC Trooper and Gregor was the Clone Commando, but those two, however, said otherwise. Although this was the end of the Clone Wars, and we got to the end of Rebels, of course, with Rex, however, fought alongside Hera and the Rebels at the Battle of Endor. And of course with Kanan Jarrus, all the way to the where he made the ultimate sacrifice to save his friends. And of course, you know, so his apprentice could survive, although he did made the jump to hyperspace and he was never seen again. And they have a kid. And they have a kid named Jason Jarrus, who's named after Han Solo's son in Legends, Jason Solo. But he has green hair. But of course, I still love to see Sabine Wren and of course, Ahsoka Tano again. And I love to see them again in their search for Ezra. Like I say, I don't care if it's going to be a movie, a Disney Plus original movie, a Disney Plus original series, a book, a video game. I want that to happen. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of the episode. Okay guys, that's going to be about it for Star Wars Week and Revenge of the Friday. I hope you guys enjoyed the reviews of the Clone Wars, Final Arc, and The Rise of Skywalker, and of course a bit of audio drama where I made the ultimate sacrifice. And I hope you enjoy my thoughts on Taika Waititi doing a Star Wars movie, and of course my clone doing a video game recap. Although he forgot to mention that Rise of Skywalker will be coming in October 2020. And I hope you enjoyed the top 10 arcs that I love. Yeah, I regretted doing the Martess sister Bogus journey one. But, you know, then I could have had the Bad Batch, you know. But I don't think of it as the highest, you know. But still, it counts. Alright guys, that's a bit of it. Thank you for listening to Star Wars Week. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, may the Force be with you.